It's my pleasure to introduce Julie Sills-Moloch.
Good afternoon, and welcome to HBCU Partnerships 101, Best Practices for Engagement Across Industry. I'm Julie Sills-Moloch, Chief Development Officer for the Propel Center and a proud alumnus of Spelman College in Atlanta. I'm hopeful that you've been enjoying the HBCU STEAM Days of Action schedule of activities over the past few days, as the programming has been incredibly robust, illuminating, and most importantly, informative, as we all continue to press the case for the ongoing support and uplift of our nation's treasures, our historically Black colleges and universities. I'm proud to serve as the moderator for this panel discussion, and we'll jump right in with an introduction of Congressman French Hill, currently serving his 4th term representing Central Arkansas. For over 2 decades, Representative Hill has been a key leader in the Arkansas business community, including founding a community bank, leading the Rotary and Chamber of Commerce. Currently, Representative Hill serves on the Financial Services Committee, where he is the lead Republican on the Housing, Community Development, and Insurance Subcommittee. Representative Hill.
Well, Julie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thanks so much for your leadership at the Propel Center. And what a treat to be talking about partnership with our important HBCU institutions and stakeholders around the country. And I'd be absolutely remiss if I didn't start this talk off with a tremendous thanks to my great friend and colleague from North Carolina, Alma Adams. We were elected the same year back in 2014. We brought a lifetime of service and our backgrounds to Congress to help make Congress a better place and to advocate for better policy. And Alma and I have the privilege of serving on that same great committee of the House Financial Services Committee. In this Congress, I'm delighted to be her co-chair of the very bipartisan, very large and growing House HBCU Caucus. And we are joined in this effort over in the Senate, that other body at the other end of the Capitol, of our friends Chris Coons from Delaware and Tim Scott of South Carolina. We've got a great team that's working together on behalf of our institutions, the students, the faculty, and the staff there. And we've had quite a number of successes during our short time in Congress, and I'm proud of Alma's continued steadfast leadership there. You know, I got very invested in the success of HBCUs long before I came to Congress. I represent 3 in my district, and then one of our land grant schools, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, just outside my district. And so before I was in Congress, as noted, I worked heavily with the Rotary Club of Little Rock and the Chamber in Little Rock, and one of those endeavors led me as a banker to be very helpful in the fundraising, support, and capital expansion for Arkansas Baptist College, which is our private Baptist-based school in Little Rock, right down the road from our great Methodist institution, Philanthropy Smith, and across the river from Shorter College. And it was that work, really working for the leadership at Arkansas Baptist, that I really cut my teeth on the challenges that our HBCUs have in each of our communities, and how we can do a great job as civic leaders in our communities, as well as leaders in Congress, to advocate for what will help make each of these campuses more fulfilled, more successful, offer more opportunities to our students, and do so in a way that is financially sound and collaborative and successful. And what I witnessed is these schools in Little Rock are absolutely essential to our workforce preparation. They're an essential part of their neighborhoods in which they sit. All three schools in Little Rock are at the crossroads of our city and are very significant anchors to real estate development, commercial development, and residential development in their respective neighborhoods. They produce tremendous graduates. We're talking about STEAM today also, and grateful to Congresswoman Bonamici's leadership there. Each of these schools has an emphasis on providing STEM/STEAM graduates to benefit the regional economy in Greater Little Rock. Philanthropy has a terrific partnership with Baptist Hospital on producing essentially medical talent. We are 800 nurses short in our 11,000 person workforce in downtown Little Rock in healthcare. Philander has been a leader in business development and education as well. Arkansas Baptist and Shorter have done a fantastic job for first-time students getting college credit. And also both have been amazingly helpful and were inspirational to me in my Shift Back to Society effort, where those schools help people who are coming out of incarceration shift back into society successfully with wraparound services and education so that they can join our workforce in Little Rock and be productive citizens and see our recidivism rate cut significantly. My hat's off to the team at Shorter and Arkansas Baptist who lead that work. So first thing I learned in my chamber work was the importance to workforce, to the community, to the neighborhood. And so I would say that what Alma and I have been able to do together on the best practices topic of the day is first, philanthropy. Are our over 100 HBCUs proactively reaching out and building philanthropic partners locally and working through the HBC Caucus and other means to attract national philanthropic support? Secondly, is that support dedicated to building the capacity of our faculty and supporting student achievement? Because that's a key area. Alma and I are working with Tim Scott and Chris Coons on the Ignite Act, which will help a grant program support that philanthropy in hard things like buildings, maintenance, operations, IT, cyber protection. But that philanthropy is really important on student support in terms both in the classroom and in internships, paid internships. The best way we can motivate our kids, no matter where they are in their higher education continuum, is to get them experience in something that really excites them. And a paid internship, a summer opportunity, or in classroom adjunct lectures are critical to that. We have to open horizons for all our students and see how they can achieve their own success. So the final comment there is student recruiting. So beyond internships, beyond that philanthropic support of the nonprofit sector and the corporate sector, is that critical issue of using HBCUs, their fantastic faculty and students, as a real way to enhance the diversity of our workforce, a priority for so many companies, large and small, across the nation. And here we have this exceptional one-stop ability to meet some of the brightest, most talented students across the nation right here at our HBCUs. And as I'm sure Suzanne and Alma will talk about, these campuses are producing 30% of African-American STEM graduates. And they are all graduating this May in one of the best opportunities to find a new job in America with so many jobs open. So Alma, again, my hat's off to you. Thank you for being such a terrific leader of our HBCU caucus. I'm proud to be your co-chair, and I hope everybody has a good, productive discussion today, and thanks for having me.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much to my co-chair. I really do appreciate all of your support and our work together.
Thanks, Representative Hill and Representative Adams. Next, we're pleased to hear remarks from Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. She's the co-chair of the Congressional STEAM Caucus, and she has represented the 1st Congressional District of Oregon since February of 2012. Strengthening public education is one of her top priorities and one of the reasons she got involved in public service. In Congress, she's a leader on the Education and Labor Committee and chair of the Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Human Services. Congresswoman Bonamici has long been an advocate for equity in education and public policy and funding. She's dedicated to setting national policies that give students the support and opportunities they need to succeed in school and life. Welcome, Representative Bonamici.
Well, thank you so much, Julie, for the kind introduction, and thank you to Representative Adams and Representative Hill for your leadership of the HBCU Caucus, of which I am a proud member. And it's really an honor to participate again in HBCU STEAM Day of Action and to co-host this event with the Congressional STEAM Caucus for the 5th time. I wish we could be together in person, hopefully next time, but I'm grateful that we have this way to be together, albeit virtually. We know that HBCUs are truly engines of opportunity and advancement for African Americans in STEAM. Now, I came to Congress, as you heard in that kind introduction from Julie, because of my passion for improving public education for all students. And I'm honored to serve on the Education and Labor Committee and to chair the Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Human Services. And over the years, loss of access to the arts and humanities has been a fundamental matter of equity. And it's especially important to address considering how creative learning bolsters academic success. And I know Representative Adams knows this as an artist as well. Research shows that low-income students and students of color are disproportionately suffering from a reduced access to arts education programming. The government has been issuing reports for decades about the lack of diversity in traditional STEM fields. So we know that's an issue. We know it's a challenge, and we know we need to do more to focus on comprehensive actions to close this gap. When communities of color are not represented in these fields, it means their voices are not at the table to identify our nation's most pressing problems and, importantly, to help find solutions to them. So now more than ever, it's critical that industry leaders and HBCUs work together to prepare all students, especially students of color, for a future in STEAM careers. And that pathway to good paying jobs and careers exists after graduation. So for several years, I've been leading this STEM to STEAM movement, which is about integrating art and design into science, technology, engineering, and math, because STEAM education helps develop well-rounded thinkers to solve those pressing problems of the 21st century, and also to help maintain our position as an innovative country. My interest in STEAM education, and I also serve on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee as well. And my interest in STEAM education began years ago, in part through conversations with employers. They would identify the qualities that they're seeking: innovative and creative thinkers who can communicate, collaborate, and craft creative ways to solve problems. And we know that the arts help with all of those areas. Students are more engaged in classrooms when arts, music, and other creative outlets are included in instruction. I have introduced the Arts Education for All Act to make sure that educators can receive a professional development on implementing arts integration into all types of curriculum. And this will also help schools partner with arts education specialists who can improve STEAM curriculum in schools. I'm also advocating for many legislative pathways to increase federal support for STEAM education. So you may be tracking and hearing about the America Competes Act, legislation to help strengthen our economic recovery, reduce costs, create good jobs. And I was proud to include into that legislation 2 amendments to incorporate STEAM into the National Science Foundation program, supporting innovative curriculum research, STEM engagement, and educator professional development. And I'll be working hard to make sure that that's included in the final bill. We also need to continue to provide robust funding to HBCUs. I have always maintained that the role of the federal government in education is one of advancing equity and leveling the playing field. And I'm proud of the investments that we made during the 117th Congress, including a $2.7 billion investment led by Congresswoman Adams in HBCUs in the American Rescue Plan, and also providing $885 million to assist HBCUs, predominantly Black institutions and other minority serving institutions in the recently passed omnibus appropriations bill. But the private sector also has a role to play if we're going to keep working to achieve that promise of equity. So it's important that we have these established, but also strengthen the partnerships with HBCUs. And I think you're going to hear great examples of these partnerships here today, communicating workforce needs and being intentional in their efforts to diversify at every level. So thank you again for inviting me to speak with you all today to discuss my passion for STEAM education, which I know many of you share. I look forward to hearing further about the best practices of the private sector partnerships with HBCUs moving forward to help our students, our businesses, our communities, and our economy. So thanks again for the opportunity to join you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Representative. Oh, sorry.
I apologize, Julie. I just want to thank Congressman.
Thank you both. Next, I'm thrilled to introduce Dr. Dietra Trent. She's the new Executive Director for the White House Initiative on HBCUs. Dr. Trent earned a bachelor's degree in sociology and criminal justice from Hampton University and completed her master's and doctoral degrees in public administration and policy from Virginia Commonwealth University. She has over 25 years of experience working to advance equity for Virginia's most disadvantaged populations. In 2016, Dr. Trent was appointed as Virginia's Secretary of Education and has previously served in the administrations of 3 former governors, as well as the office of Congressman Bobby Scott. Dr. Trent.
Thank you so much, Julie. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to begin by thanking Representatives Hill and Bonamici for your leadership in this caucus. I also want to just say thank you to Congresswoman Adams. I am honored by your invitation to participate in the HBCU STEAM Day of Action. And I'm honored that you asked me to share a few words. And because I am a person of few words, I will do just that. I also just want to thank all of the members of the bipartisan Congressional HBCU Caucus. When I first accepted this job, I have to admit I was a little bit concerned about the enormity of the task before me, but then I learned about this caucus and the incredible work that you've done and that you continue to do to advance equity and opportunity on behalf of our HBCUs. And so as I travel to these campuses across the country, I will certainly be your cheerleader and let them know what this caucus is doing and how much work you're doing on their behalf. And then I just also want to express my appreciation and my gratitude to the corporations participating today. You should just know that your support is needed and it is very much appreciated. Julie mentioned that I am a Hampton graduate, and she mentioned my credentials. I did earn my master's and my PhD from VCU, which is a great tier 1 university, research university. But I like to say, although I received those credentials from there, I actually was educated at Hampton University. And I say that because that was the most formidable time in my life. And it was there that I learned, I really learned how to embrace life and all that it had to offer. I learned about leadership. I learned about community service. I learned about my responsibility, not only to my community, but as to society as a whole. And so, yeah, Julie, like you, I am that proud HBCU alum. And like so many other members of Congress, I too share that pride. I would say that there's little I can offer this caucus beyond my pledge to work as hard as you to create greater opportunity for these institutions. I believe that HBCUs are more important today than they ever were before. And as you know, these national treasures, as been stated by the two representatives before me, have made and continue to make extraordinary contributions to our society and the general prosperity of our nation. And you, more than most, understand that America's ability to continue to outcompete and out-innovate other nations depends on our willingness to invest, optimize, and diversify our talent. So investing in HBCUs is an investment in America's future. And I'll just mention, while I am really proud to serve in administration who has invested nearly $6 billion along with Congress in these institutions, I have to agree, this is not a federal government's responsibility alone. And that's why I want to again salute the corporate partners participating in this convening today. I am closing out my 5th week on the job, and I look forward to partnering with you over the next 100+ weeks to get this work done. Thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Thanks, Dr. Trent. Appreciate your remarks. They personally resonate with me as well. One of 100 members of my immediate family who have attended HBCUs. I'm one of 18 women in my family that are Spelman alums. Spelman was the only place that I applied. My parents basically said, you can apply wherever you want. We're only paying for Spelman. And that directive has served me very well. As the lead fundraiser for the Propel Center, my primary goal was to establish partnerships with public, private, and nonprofit organizations. Not only long-serving ones like the United Way and Inroads, but newer ones like the Black Directors Health Equity Agenda. So I'd like to tee up a very short video that will give an overview about the Propel Center that was genuinely co-founded by Apple and Southern Company. So if we could play the video.
We understand the opportunity that we have to be a citizen wherever we serve, and it may look differently.
HBCUs have a history of turning out the leaders in our community. The Propel Center will be a place for all HBCU students and the surrounding community.
It's going to serve essentially the 100 or so HBCUs that are across the U.S. It will have students that come there, and so think of it as an innovation hub.
And with an abiding faith in education's power as a great equalizer, I'm grateful to walk this path together, and I can't wait to see where it leads.
Thank you. Excuse me. At this time, I'd like to introduce our distinguished panelists. They include names that most of you, I'm sure, are quite familiar. I'd like to begin with Karen Robinson, VP for Litigation and Intellectual Property at Adobe. Brent Swinton, Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Bowie State University. Terrence Bowman, Director, Diversity, Campus Recruiting for Capital One. Dr. Patrice Gilliam Johnson, Dean, School of Graduate, Adult, and Extended Studies, Delaware State University. Fernando Little, Chief Diversity Officer for Atrium Health, and Tammy B. Simmons, Vice President of Institutional Advancement for Johnson C. Smith University. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So I'd like to start with Terrence Bowman from Cap One. Terrence, from a corporate perspective, how do partnerships with HBCUs help to advance your organizational goals?
Thank you for that question, Julie. And as it relates to our goals for Capital One, our relationships with HBCUs are a core part of our institutional advancement. We have an initiative at Capital One. It's called the Capital One Racial Equity Initiative. And one of the key components of that is to increase our engagement and relationships with HBCUs and HSIs, which are Hispanic serving institutions. And by that, we mean truly going deep in the relationship, making it a mutually beneficial partnership where we are really learning about the university, understanding the curriculum, the profile of students, understanding the needs of the university, understanding where there are research opportunities, investment in the curriculum, as well as infrastructure support, ultimately to build student success opportunities and employment pathways for these students to achieve, and creating opportunities also for faculty, administrators, and staff to also thrive in their roles at the university.
Excellent. I know that you all recently announced a partnership with Delaware State University. Dr. Gilliam Johnson, can you expound on that?
Sure, and thank you for first allowing me to be a part of the panel for representing Delaware State University. I too am a proud HBCU graduate from Morgan State University, recognize the importance of HBCUs coming to the table and recognizing even more now the partnerships that need to happen. Most recently, and I'm very, very happy to talk about it, to thank Terrence and Capital One, Delaware State was the recipient of a donation, a $4.7 million donation of a facility down on our riverfront. And that facility will be used to house our professional master's degree programs, our workforce development programs, and collaboration spaces to foster upskilling, retooling, and innovative planning between the university, industry partners, and also relevant 501c3s in the community. So we're very excited about having this opportunity.
Awesome. Fernando Little from Atrium Health, same question. How do HBCU partnerships advance your work in the healthcare sector?
So we couldn't be more excited about the crown jewel that we have in Charlotte, North Carolina, in Johnson C. Smith University. That is the only HBCU in the city. And as we have celebrated over the past couple of months, the progression and the announcement of building a medical school in Charlotte. This will be, Charlotte for some time was the largest city in the United States without a medical school in their background. And when we realized that there's an opportunity and an incredible talent pool with JCSU to build pipelines into that medical school, it was just a no-brainer for us to partner with Tammy and President Armbruster to be intentional about what we can do to develop experiential learning, to focus on health careers, pre-med careers, and to strengthen our partnership, because there is intentionality in making sure that the talent from JCSU have an opportunity to progress and matriculate in this medical school in Charlotte.
And Tammy, how did this partnership with Atrium help to advance the goals of your institution?
Good morning, and thanks for that question. Atrium has been a long-standing partner of Johnson C. Smith University, and Fernando and I were talking yesterday in preparation for this particular call. And what we said to one another is, you know, the relationship dates way before he and I actually came into our current roles. And that speaks volumes, I think, to the strength, if you will, of public and private partnerships. And certainly Congresswoman Adams is aware of this and so much a part of the strength of those relationships in this particular city and in the region. And so as Fernando and I were talking, what we came to was, as different needs occur on our campus, we are confident that we can go to Atrium Health and say, here is where we are. How can you help? And they are always right there to walk with us through whatever challenge. Most recently, of course, as most universities and particularly small HBCUs, we had to keep kids safe during the pandemic and getting them educated on COVID and getting our surrounding community safe and educated. And we called Atrium, and in a very strategic, thoughtful and deliberate way, we came together as two entities and said, here are the things we need to do to keep students safe, faculty and staff safe, and the surrounding community safe. And that's just the most recent example. There are so many that are like that. And again, as we talked yesterday, what we came to is this is strategic work. You have to be very thoughtful about the engagement with your partners and very strategic about it as well.
Thanks, Tammy.
And I'm also a proud graduate of Hampton. Dr. Trent out there, it was the most amazing experience ever. So I had to put that plug in.
Love that. And if everyone could utilize the chat and give a shout out to your favorite HBCU, and also to express our gratitude to these amazing elected officials that are just fierce advocates for this work. I don't think we take enough time to thank them. Except maybe every 2 or 4 years, but we need to do it more often. Karen, can you share your thoughts on the importance of partnerships, especially in the tech sector with a company like Adobe?
Sure. First, I want to take the opportunity to thank Representative Adams, Hill, and Bonamici for all this amazing work and the invitation to sit on this panel and talk about such important issues. STEAM in particular is critically important to a company like Adobe. As a software company that is focused on creativity for all, we are all the letters in STEAM have value to us. So we're really excited about being able to partner with Bowie State to really sort of continue to drive our efforts around these issues. So for us, we look at this as a long-term partnership. And I'm excited to see, you'll hear from Brent and the work that we are doing, but really for us, we looked at this as a need to develop not just handing out a check. And don't get me wrong, I get that everybody appreciates getting a check. Checks are important, but we also wanted to partner in a way that would allow for us to address sort of long-term issues that might be a challenge to the universities that we're partnering with. And I take this opportunity to say, while we are partnering with Bowie State, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our similar partnership with Winston-Salem State University. So we've got 2 HBCUs that we're working with at the moment, and hopefully more to come, but it's critical to the work that we think needs to be done. We've all seen the statistics around where the numbers are for from judges to, and I say that as a lawyer, from judges to engineers to school teachers, and all of that is impacted by the STEAM work that we're talking about here. So when we partnered with Bowie State, we came to them and said, what is critical to you? We don't want to assume that we know. It wasn't directed. We partnered, we worked about a year and a half as we were talking and figuring out, and we engaged on curriculum, we engaged in student enhancement, faculty enhancement, infrastructure, just a lot of different areas, but again, driven by the university and mindful of the need for a long-term partnership. So it's been critical for us. We think it's really important, and it's not just about, very candidly, it's not just about getting ultimately more people at Adobe. It's about getting opportunities to our community and allowing them to see all of the amazing experiences, and career growth that is potential in tech.
Absolutely. Thanks, Karen. And Brent, do you want to weigh in on your partnership with Adobe? And you're on mute.
Thank you, Julie. You know, it's awfully hard to go after an attorney, but, you know, because she said it all. But I will tell you this, I really do want to thank from the bottom of my heart how Adobe has worked with us, not only Karen Robinson, but members of their team, Mo Ramos, Deanna Washington, who was the very first engagement officer. They have, as Karen just mentioned, worked with us and not just dropped off a check, but we are really, even as we speak right now, still developing all of the ways that this partnership will enhance both the educational experience of our students, but also just the life experiences. This industry engagement that we're talking about today is already a pillar within the strategic plan at Bowie State University, which we call Racing to Excellence. And that strategic plan is our North Star as we innovate to improve and enhance our academic programs and also co-curricular experiences for our students. So corporate partners like Adobe are working right now as we speak with our faculty, with our staff to help our students just get ready for 21st century careers in the marketplace and have not only the technical skills, you know, that we're talking about, but even the entrepreneurial mindset that is a hallmark of a Bowie State University education. And we do this because we want to make sure that our graduates, with the help of partners like Adobe, have lifelong learning, civic responsibility, and just, again, a preparedness to make a difference in this world.
Excellent. My next question is for Congresswoman Adams. I know that you're a two-time graduate of North Carolina A&T, a trustee. You have a PhD from The Ohio State University, where I've also had the pleasure of working. But you've also been a professor at Bennett for 4 decades. What drove you to found the HBCU Caucus?
Well, thank you for that question. You know, all that you said drove me that way. And I am a proud representative of the 12th Congressional District, where I represent Johnson C. Smith University. I certainly want to add that. I want to thank Tammy and all the folks from the Charlotte area. But let me just say that it was an HBCU, North Carolina A&T State University, who took me in, a poor Black girl from the ghetto of Newark, New Jersey, walked those streets, wasn't fully prepared academically to do college work, but yet they made that investment in me. And that's what HBCUs do. And they got me ready and prepared. I did my bachelor's and master's there and went on to do my PhD at The Ohio State University, but only because of the North Carolina A&T and HBCU. So listen, all of my 1,408 hats I tipped to our HBCUs, and I am just grateful to have had that opportunity, and a strong mother who only went to the 10th grade, didn't get to go to an HBCU or any CU, but she understood the value of education for me. So that's the investment that I'm making here in the Congress, because of the investment that was made in me. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. That was my life's work before I came here, and it's still my life's work. But thank you for the question.
Well, we salute you. And I think we should turn to audience Q&A. See, I know we have a lot of messages here. John and Sam, are we just going to have people jump in, or how should we handle questions?
Patrice Johnson. Patrice Johnson has had her hand up for a little bit, so I'm going to give her the opportunity to speak.
Hand up? I'm sorry, I'm not showing that that my hand is up.
Oh, I guess it's another Patrice Johnson.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Go ahead, Patrice.
That was an accident. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand. And hello, Patrice. It's nice to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you too, Patrice.
Any other questions or comments?
In
from the
that case, I'll go to John Cash and then Stephen Boyd.
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Cash here from the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Congresswoman Alma Adams, thank you very much for all that you do. Again, I'm also a proud HBCU graduate in the Chocolate City, Washington, D.C., Howard University. I just want to take the chance to share with this audience and continue to amplify the message in regards to what Johnson C. Smith has initiated. We all know that STEAM is an opportunity for our underserved K-12 and HBCU students. Approximately 80% of all future jobs will have some type of STEAM component. At Johnson C. Smith, in the middle of a pandemic, we launched the first HBCU esports gaming curriculum, club team, and lab, bootstrapped it under both Dr. President Armbruster and Dr. Bernadette Lawson Williams. To date, we have also developed the first and most successful HBCU esports program called Gaming Community Co. I'm the board chair. We're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, founded by two fantastic HBCU graduates, 30 years old each, from Oakwood University and North Carolina Central University. To date, our partnerships include Microsoft, Twitch, Riot Games, Discover Card. We have already allocated approximately $700,000 in less than 2 years to HBCU institutions for build out of esports lab facilities, scholarships, and opportunities and internships. It is my opportunity to continue to amplify this. All of the institutions listed with the individuals here have benefited, including Bowie State, Delaware State, Johnson C. Smith University. Congresswoman Adams, we have also launched the initiative at Bennett College under Dr. Laura Colson. Again, she is leading that initiative. So I am sharing this with you guys because we are making a difference in the impact. And we've done all of this in less than 2 years as a 501c3 and at Johnson C. Smith. So I look forward for partnerships. Congresswoman Adams, we were featured during the 2021 White House HBCU Initiative panel for esports and gaming. I look forward to us having a larger opportunity to share our success with the new executive director, Dr. Trent. And again, if anyone has questions for me, I can definitely follow up through Dr. Alma Adams' office or address any questions you guys may have for me now. And I humbly thank you for your time.
Thank you, John, and thank you for your service and for all of the work that we're doing together in North Carolina and other places. And we are HBCU strong. And
it's one last thing I would like to share, Congresswoman Adams. As you know, the North Carolina budget had a line item for $5 million for esports and gaming. And that was just initiated this year for 2022. I feel there's a huge opportunity for an HBCU esports career and tournament opportunity in the state of North Carolina representing more HBCUs than any other state in the country. And I definitely don't want that giant sucking sound of $5 million to be HBCUs not having the opportunity to participate. So I would love any type of support from anyone on this call or any reference that I can follow up with.
Well, let's talk about that. Reach out to my office, and we do need to do that. And thank you. And I did come by Johnson C. Smith. I see the program over there. Everything is really going well. We're so proud.
All right. Our next question is from Tracy Fleming from Barber Scotia.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the interim president, Barber Scotia, about 6 weeks in. And I just want to say thank you to Dr. Alma Adams for all of her support at Barber Scotia College. We're located in Concord, North Carolina, 155-year institution. Mary McLeod Bethune was a student who also went on to found Bethune-Cookman College. My question is basically, how can we get the support from major corporations to partner with schools like Barber Scotia College? We're probably one of the only ones on this call that's an unaccredited HBCU at this time. We are doing everything possible to work towards our accreditation, to reestablish ourselves back in the community. We're located about 15 miles from Johnson C. Smith. We have reached out and have corporate sponsors at this point who are believing in Barber Scotia College. UPS has done a phenomenal job. I'm a 30-year retiree from UPS, and we've donated over 1,800 hours. So someone was speaking about, we don't just like to ask for checks either. We like to form a partnership. So we did 1,800 hours of volunteer work with UPS, and they did also provide a grant for us. Lenovo just recently provided a grant out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And then our Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority National Headquarters just provided an endowment. So we need more support. We need corporations to come in and help us with our infrastructure so that, again, we could be the respected college institutions serving our communities, providing innovative and creative workforce talent that's out here and available. So that's my question, but I do want to thank all panelists on the call today. I think it's very informative, and we just need some support and help.
Well, thank you for your question, and thank you for your comments, and thank you for your support of Barber Scotia. Now that the new 12th district looks like it goes a little bit into Cabarrus County, so that university, that college is being pulled back into the 12th district. We're glad about it. We've talked to just a few days ago on one of these calls, I don't remember, one of your graduates who indicated that she was working and with the university. And so we're continuing to try to find ways to help Barber Scotia. We do have the HBCU Partnership Challenge. And that may be something that we should talk about as well. So, but we haven't forgotten. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that we help to provide some resources. But we've got to get some other things. And again, I think when you talked about the accreditation, that's going to be an important factor too. So thank you very much for your question and for your support.
Hi, this is John Chrissy. I just want to, Fleming's, there's a comment in the chat, someone who is willing to, I think from HP, willing to engage with you on a partnership with Barber Scotia. So just wanted to flag that for you.
All right, our next question comes from Jaresh, who's joining us from Knoxville, and he is the Director of Board of Directors for ISHPI. Jaresh, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and also my sincere thanks to all of you on the panel. You're doing wonderful work. I'm a founder of the CEO of a nonprofit apprenticeship implementation solutions, and the goal is to help HBCUs and other minority serving institutions launch apprenticeships, not internships, apprenticeships, as a career pathway to the HBCU students. And we have an initiative currently in progress in South Carolina, partnering with a consortium of HBCUs led by South Carolina State University, also Claflin and Voorhees and Benedict College, are the four colleges that have come together as a consortium to implement a apprenticeship program for software development or programmers, and which is, by the way, if you're maybe aware that there's like a million of those jobs are open, and typically in technology, as many of you are aware, the participation of the minority community is very low. We need to increase the diversity of the technology profession, and that's our goal. And we are supported by the Urban Institute, which has a grant from Department of Labor, but we really would like to reach the chief officers of the Partnership Challenge, the diversity officers, the inclusion officers, and so on. And those corporations are already committed to Congressman Adams' challenge for a partnership challenge. And I think we will offer them an opportunity to come and interview and recruit from the HBCUs in South Carolina. And this is a pilot program for us. If this works, which we're going to launch this in fall of 2022, and we're going to take this across the country to other HBCUs in other states. And we really would like to be able to start with the Congressman's initiative here, and that will give us C-level executive support of this program from those corporations.
Well, great. That's wonderful. Make sure we get your information. We definitely want to connect with you. I think that's a wonderful those are wonderful possibilities for our students. Opportunity, that's what we need. So we'll be in touch with you. So hopefully your information is in the chat. Thank you.
All right, and I think Tammy's hand is up on the panel.
It is. I just wanted to follow up on that last comment regarding students and internship opportunities and apprenticeship opportunities. I would be remiss if I didn't bring to light the very, very thoughtful, planful action that our president has taken towards ensuring that our students seek and get an internship opportunity following their sophomore year, their junior year, and then upon graduation, hopefully they are equipped to go right into a profession, right into a corporation with all that they need to be successful. And so again, just want to give a shout out to President Armbruster for his thoughtfulness around that. It's so important. And before I finish, I just want to say we are so lucky to be in Congresswoman Adams' district. We celebrate that every single day. And so Congresswoman Adams, thank you for this forum and for all you do. But I know that you and the president work closely on being strategic about how we keep students moving in the right way.
Thank you, Tammy. And it's just my pleasure to work with JCSU.
It's you.
That's right. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you for participating today.
All right, looks like our next question for the panel is from TJ Jamerson. TJ, you're now live if you want to unmute. All right, in that case, we'll go to Stephen Boyd.
I apologize. This is TJ Jamerson. It took me a moment to find the unmute button. So if I may, so first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone for your time. And this is a meaningful topic for me. I am with Farm Credit Mid-America. We have accepted the HBCU challenge. And I'm also a graduate of Kentucky State University. So I am an HBC alum. I am interested, this is probably more of a statement than a question, in working with others that are working with HBCUs to develop and define best practices, try to create some blueprint on some things that are working really well so that we can work with others to do knowledge transfer and develop programs that can be sort of lifted and repeated and shifted. So Terrence, I know you're doing some really good work out there with Capital One. Just want to let you know I'm going to be reaching out to you, but I don't know if there's a way collectively to get a group of folks together on the corporate side, on the HBCU sides, and really start to plan and map out purposefully an agenda on how we not only just do small things independently, but how we can work collectively as a group together. And if there is an opportunity for that, I just want to raise my hand as someone that has an interest in helping to develop that on a go-forward basis. Thank you for the time.
Well, TJ, we would love to convene that working session with corporate and nonprofit partners.
And Julie, I was just going to pile on. I would be elated to be a part of that conversation because I do think that we should be joining arms more as corporate entities because we are stronger together than we are apart. And let's face it, right? You know, there's enough talent, Black talent out there for all of us. And, you know, while I may want to think that everyone wants to come to Capital One, they don't, right? We want people to go to Adobe. We want people to go to these other firms. But if we're all doing our part, we win. HBCU wins, right? And we can be stronger together. So happy to be a part of that.
May I jump in here for a minute also? And I just kind of would be remiss also from Delaware State University if I did not emphasize the effect and the impact that Capital One has had at Del State. They have offered many opportunities from serving on our advisory councils to help us to be able to establish strong curriculums. Since we're talking about STEAM, they have been working very closely with our College of Agriculture, Science, and Technology to look into ways to bring adjuncts from the company into our our university so that we can have a more robust, up-to-date, state-of-the-art program. Again, I just want to thank Capital One and our other funders. We do have other funders, and I appreciate all of the work that they do because they're so necessary.
Yeah. And Julie, if I could just get in, I think, in the midst of a health equity crisis right now, I have to say the importance of us being able to engage our talented Black and Brown students from HBCUs that want to engage and contribute to this. So I'm jumping on with Patrice and Terrence to say we are adamantly in support of building a blueprint. Partly because, and very importantly, because we have to acknowledge we're in the midst of a national health equity crisis right now.
Absolutely. And Propel,
I could just,
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to pile on and suggest that, there are over 100 HBCUs, and we've heard from some on this call, and we know, candidly, not all funds are distributed equally across our HBCUs. And so one of the ways that I think we can best leverage that is in these discussions where we come together as corporations and have conversations about best practices. And because, individually, we're not going to be able to hit everyone. Collectively, we can make an impact across all HBCUs.
Definitely. And now we will have closing remarks from Congresswoman Alma Adams. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so very much. You've been you all have absolutely been great, Julie. You've been outstanding, and we certainly appreciate it. You've been a great moderator for our conversation today, and let us give Julie a virtual round of applause, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, and then of course, let's give a round of applause to our panelists, our participants, and our HBCU champions.
Yes.
So let me just say to the White House HBCU Initiative Executive Director, Dietra Trent, we certainly welcome you today as well, and we look forward to the work we're going to do together. We want to shout out as well to esteemed caucus co-chair, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, to our panelists, Karen Robinson and Brent Swinton and Terrence Bowman, Dr. Patrice Gilliam Johnson, Fernando Little, and Tammy Simmons. Thank you so much. A special thanks go out to my HBCU Caucus co-chair, Congressman French Hill, who's been such a great partner in advancing the cause for our schools. I want to thank my staff as well, who worked so hard to make this week of advocacy happen. Had it not been for them, we could not have pulled this off. But I particularly want to thank my chief of staff, John Christie, who's an HBCU alum himself. My grandson is a student at the real HU, but every once in a while, I'll cheer for other HU. John's been in my office now for a number of years, 5, I think, and I'm proud of the work he's done for our schools and our caucus and our mission and our students. So I am so inspired by the conversations that we've had today. For those of you who don't know me, as you probably heard by now, I am a 2-time proud HBCU graduate, and it was because of that HBCU in Greensboro, North Carolina A&T, that this poor Black girl from the ghetto of Newark, New Jersey can now walk the halls of Congress. Imagine this. Your mom cleaned houses to make the ends meet. You saved every penny to go to college because the most important people in your life have taught you the value of education. And so you make it to an HBCU, you become the first member of your family to go to college. And like Congressman Hakeem Jeffries always like to quote, if you don't know, now you know. But it's a powerful story, but it's powerful precisely because it is not unique. I'm reminded of W.E.B. Du Bois, who said that of all of the civil rights, which the world has struggled and fought for 500 years, the right to learn is undoubtedly the most fundamental. And since 1837, HBCUs have secured for our communities that fundamental right. They've provided a pathway to good jobs and better lives for millions of students. They've been anchors of their communities, as you've heard, safe havens in times of trouble, and critical engines of commerce. And so for over 150 years, our schools have withstood underfunding and ignorance and malice by those who would seek to harm us simply because of the color of our skin. But we're here today because we understand that our schools are more than just institutions of higher education. I'm reminded of the United Negro College Fund, who tells us all the time that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. And I just want to add, a Black mind is a terrible thing to waste. So let me be clear, HBCUs aren't just our past, they're our present. They are our future. Our schools are special, our students are special, our faculty and staff. They've helped us light a flame for our communities, a fire whose light has shone broad and far. And so with your help, we're going to ignite the embers of our next generation and watch as they glow brighter than anyone before. So our next lawyers and doctors and engineers and teachers and artists and computer scientists are at our HBCUs right this second. That's why I'm so proud of our HBCU partnership. We're connecting nearly 100 companies with tomorrow's leaders, and we're going to continue to partner with you to build and strengthen these pipelines. And you have my word on that. We've come so far together, and I know we've got further to go. But the conversations that we've had today is just the next step in our journey towards equity and prosperity for all. It's a road that we're going to continue walking together. I promise you this, we're not going to run out of steam. So with your help, with your investments in our schools and our students and communities, we're going to make sure that the entire world can see by the light of our HBCUs. And let me leave you with this thought. A society can only grow great when old men and old women plant trees under which they know they'll never sit. So let's keep planting. And thank you all so very much for being here today, for your participation. God bless.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everyone.